professional life, you might see few cases who have shown some kind of hypersensitivity reactions. And what are the different mechanism or what are the treatment modalities in such cases? You must know. So this topic comes under the must know. So today's topic is about the hypersensitivity, and we have come across the immunity. Immunity is nothing but the resistance shown by the body, human body, to the invading pathogens in the form of innate immunity or the acquired immunity, which we have discussed yesterday in length. So immunity is good for our protection, but anything which is in excess is going to have a deleterious effect, which is going to cost the host also. So in exaggerated immune response, that is exaggerated immunity, will lead to some deleterious effect on the host. And that is nothing but the hypersensitivity. Anything in excess is definitely harmful for the host. So the immunity, to a certain extent, while taking care of the pathogen, is good. But in overwhelming response of that immunity will lead to the harmful effects on the host. So there are different learning objectives from today's topic. The all types of hypersensitivity reactions and their mechanisms, of course. And you could able to list out at least 3 autoimmune disorders after end of this lecture. So I just had one case study for you all. I just read it out. This is a case study. A 38-year-old woman was referred for investigation following an anaphylactic reaction whilst visiting a relative in hospital. She gave a 5-year history of recurrent conjunctival edema and rhinitis when blowing up balloons for her children's birthday parties. In the year prior to admission, 3 successive visits to her dentist triggered marked angioedema of her face on the side opposite to that requiring dental treatment. The swelling took 48 hours to subside. On the day of admission, she visited a critically ill relative in hospital. The patient was being reversed, barrier nursed, and visitors were required to wear gown and gloves. About 20 minutes after putting on the gloves, her face and eyes became swollen. She felt wheezy and developed a pounding heartbeat and lightheadedness. Her tongue started to swell and she was taken to the emergency department where she was given intramuscular epinephrine, adrenaline that is, and intravenous hydrocortisone. She recovered rapidly but was kept under observation overnight. She had no history of atopy or other allergies. 10 years earlier, she had undergone a series of operations for ureteric reflux and in the preceding 2 years had received colposcopic laser treatment for cervical intraepithelial neoplasia. Examination was unremarkable. However, skin prick testing to a crude latex extract produced a very strong reaction and her antigen-specific Ig antibody level to latex was significantly elevated to 57 international units per ml of, and that is RAST class 6. The diagnosis was that of latex-induced anaphylaxis, probably induced by her repeated urinary tract operations. She was advised to avoid contact with all materials containing latex and warned that she could react to certain foods. The diagnosis has important implication for any further dental, surgical, and anesthetic procedures. It was suggested that she wear a kind of bracelet in case she required future emergency surgery and carry self-injectable form of epinephrine. What this case suggests? This case suggests that the lady was suffering some kind of allergic reaction. And that allergic reaction was shown by swelling on her tongue, itching, and headache was also there. Why she suddenly got that all these reactions or all these signs and symptoms? It is because her body produced the immunoglobulins IgE, which are actually taken part in the hypersensitivity reaction type 1. And that leads to overproduction of that IgE because of the second contact of that same allergen. She was allergic to latex particles, and the same latex particles were again introduced during her visit to that hospital, and because of which she suffered a hypersensitivity attack. And that is a very important case. And why I'm sharing with you all is that when you are actually performing any procedure on your patient, and if you need to provide anesthesia locally to that patient, you must test first that patient's sensitivity, hypersensitivity, or allergy to that anesthetic drug. Otherwise, if you do not test, at least you keep a dose of adrenaline loaded in an injection, so that the moment you see some reaction, immediate reaction, you need to take care of that reaction by providing the adrenaline injection. Whenever you are going for your professional life and you are going to do some kind of operation, I mean local manipulation in the oral cavity, that time if you want to give a anesthetic dose locally, you must also keep ready the adrenaline dose. What will happen if she or he doesn't get any reaction? That adrenaline dose will go waste. It is okay one while it is going waste, you can charge from that patient also. But if you do not take immediate action, there could be a fatality. The patient might die due to the complications of that hypersensitive reaction. So this is why I was talking about not only exam point of view, but also professional point of view. You must know all the hypersensitivity reaction. At least first is very important for all of you, because you are involved in giving the anesthetic dose locally to the patient while taking care of oral diseases. So what is hypersensitivity? Hypersensitivity is an exaggerated immune response that results in tissue damage and is manifested in the individual on second or subsequent contact with an antigen. Very important thing. First important prerequisite for any hypersensitive reaction, that person must get contact with that allergen. And that moment of time, the person's immune response will produce IgE that will not be harmful. That will be just an immunological reaction. That is immunity. What is immunity? A protective process. Helps body to overcome infections. And it is very specific to a specific response to the antigens. So what is happening? First allergen has introduced, your body produces the IgE antibodies to that antigen. This is normal. But at the same time, after a few hours of a few weeks of time, if the same allergen contact is there by that host, then there will be an exaggerated immune response. What do you mean by exaggerated immune response? Whatever the IgE produced by the first contact of allergen will exaggerate in such a way that it will harm its own cells. Okay, and that is leading to all the signs and symptoms like itching, swelling, redness all over the body. Okay, so as I said earlier, immunity to certain extent is good. What is that certain extent? Till the organism which was invaded, the host, will taken care of. But at the same moment, if it is exaggerated, if it is giving enthusiastically very high level of immune response, then that immune response will be harmful to the host. So immunity to certain extent is good, but if it exaggerated, that is converted into a hypersensitivity reaction. Immune response always not beneficial. Sometimes it is also injurious to the host. A damage to the host mediated by pre-existing immunity to self or foreign antigen. This is very important. Not only to the foreign antigen, sometimes your immune response does not recognize self from the non-self. Sometimes it produces the immunoglobulins against the self antigen. Example is hemolytic anemia. Your immune response antibodies which are there, they start producing antibodies against the erythrocytes, and they start killing the erythrocytes. It is harmful, though it is producing the antibody which are against your own cells is harmful. So damage to the host will be due to the pre-existing immunity to the self or the non-self antigen. Now coming to the definition of hypersensitivity, the injurious consequences in the sensitized host. Look at the term sensitized host. What is the sensitized host? The host had already been had a contact with the allergen, now again becoming contact with the same antigen or allergen. Antigen in hypersensitivity is called as allergen. following contact with the specific antigen. The same specific antigen must come in contact with the host second time, and that will lead to a injurious consequences to the host or in the host. For induction of hypersensitivity reactions, the host should have had contact with the antigen, that is also called as allergen. The person must had a contact with the antigen previously. Okay. And the same antigen, if it gets introduced, that is called a shocking dose, then that time it will be having that hypersensitivity reaction, converting into a hypersensitivity reaction. Initial contact sensitizes the immune system. Of course, we know this now. The moment any foreign particle introduced, then it will sensitize the immune system by in the way of either humoral immune response or the cell-mediated immune response, which we have already studied in the structure and function of immune response. Okay, leading to the priming of the appropriate B or T lymphocytes. This is known as a sensitizing or priming dose. Up till this, it's okay, but subsequent contact with the allergen causes manifestations of hypersensitivity as a shocking dose. Initial dose is important to generate that antibody response. What will be the most important thing? If same allergen get contacted after a period of time is called a shocking dose, and that will generate overwhelmed response of that IgE response, and which will lead to a deleterious effect. If you see in nutshell the difference between the immunity and hypersensitivity, in the immunity focuses on antigen and what happens to the antigen. Okay, it has introduced, they have produced the T cells or B cells, they have produced immune cells, whatever, and they recognize that antigen, they neutralize that antigen. But in the hypersensitivity, antigen are of little concern. There is no concern with the antigen. What is more important? It is more important aftermath effect after that second shocking dose to the shocking dose of that antigen. Okay, that is very important. What happens in the immunity? Killing of the bacterium or neutralization of the toxin. And what happens in the hypersensitivity? It is concerned with what happens to the host as a result of that immune reaction. That is the difference between the immunity and hypersensitivity. What are the prerequisites of the hypersensitivity reaction? Must for hypersensitivity: contact with allergen, very important. That is also called as sensitizing or primary dose. Then it has to induce the AMI or CMI, antibody-mediated immune response, or the cell-mediated immune response. And what is more important? Prerequisite or must? Shocking dose. The shocking dose is very important. We all use this word allergy, which is synonymous to the hypersensitivity reaction. Very commonly we use this. I am allergic to this, I am allergic to that. We talk so casually with this allergy, but it can have a consequences which might lead to a mortality or fatality also. So Von Pirket has originally used this term allergy, an altered state of reactivity to an antigen, and included both types of immune responses, that is AMI and CMI, and as well as protective as well as injurious consequences. Also referred as all immune processes harmful to the host, such as hypersensitivity and autoimmunity. Autoimmunity we'll be learning in later lecture, but today we will be learning only about the hypersensitivity, and this is commonly used as a hypersensitivity. What? Allergy is also referred as a hypersensitivity. Now, if you look at the classification, hypersensitivity is based upon the reaction time. If it is immediate, within half an hour, 1 hour, it is called as immediate hypersensitivity reaction. It is B cell mediated or antibody mediated, and it includes anaphylaxis, very important for all of you. Atopy, what I've referred just now, that case is nothing but the example of the anaphylaxis. Atopy, antibody mediated cell damage, arthros phenomenon, and serum sickness. These are the immediate type of hypersensitivity reaction. What does it mean? It will show immediately the reaction to the in the host. It will take hardly few minutes to an hour. That's it. Okay. And what do we? The second hypersensitivity reaction is delayed hypersensitivity. And what do you mean by delayed hypersensitivity reaction? Name itself telling you the immune, whatever the consequences are, they are delayed. They are after 2 days or 3 days. Okay. It does not immediately show any reaction by your host, by your immune response. When it will show reaction? After a couple of days. That is why it is called as delayed type of hypersensitivity. So both the classification is based upon the time required for that consequences. Okay. And what are the different types again in the delayed hypersensitivity reaction? First is the infection, or it is also called as tuberculin type. This is very important. And second one is the contact dermatitis type. Okay, these are the two classification broadly on the basis of the time required for that consequences, immediate as well as delayed. We'll just look at the differences between the immediate type of hypersensitivity and the delayed type of hypersensitivity. If you look at in the immediate hypersensitivity, it appears and recedes rapidly. But it appears immediately and disappears immediately. In delayed hypersensitivity, it appears slowly and lasts longer. It lasts longer. Immediate induced by antigen or hapten by any route, intra oral or contact or nasal ingestion, any route can generate this immediate type of hypersensitivity. But in the delayed, antigen or hapten intradermally or with fruits adjuvant or by skin contact. This is only route by which the delayed hypersensitivity occurs. In immediate, circulating antibodies are present and responsible for reactions. Why? Because pre-existing, means the blue pre-existing antibodies. Okay. Here in the delayed type, antibodies does not have any role at all. Who will take part in the delayed hypersensitivity? Cell-mediated immune response. There is no role of antibody in the delayed hypersensitivity reaction. Passively transfer possible with the serum, that is immediate hypersensitivity reaction. That is why if person is allergic to some medicines, he or she is not eligible for donation of the blood, because if you donate the blood, it will get passively transferred to the recipient. That's why it is not allowed. Delayed, it cannot be transferred with the serum, but possible with the T cells or transfer factor, because delayed type of hypersensitivity is mediated by T cell response. That is why it is transferred when you are transferring the T cells to the recipient. Desensitization is easy and short-lived in the immediate. In the delayed hypersensitivity, it is very difficult and lasts long. I think you have heard this Coombs and gel, right, for complement fixation test, right? Now they have also classified hypersensitivity reaction into 4 types based upon different mechanism. The first classification which we have seen just now is on the basis of the reaction time. Now what Coombs and gel they did, they tried to divide this hypersensitivity reaction 4 types based upon the mechanism of the pathogenesis. Type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. Now, how do you remember? I'll tell you the next slide. Type 1 is anaphylactic, IgE or reagent dependent. Type 1 is always mediated by pre-existing IgE antibodies. And those pre-existing IgE antibodies are which antibodies? They are already formed because of the sensitization initially. Okay. And after shocking dose, they will be overwhelmed. There will be overwhelmed response of that IgE, and that will lead to deleterious effect on the host cell. Okay. Then type 2 cytotoxic or cell stimulating. I was talking about the hemolytic anemia. That is the example of type 2. Type 3, immune complexes or toxic complex diseases. Probably you might have heard there was a chikungunya. People were suffering from the joint pains for years, 2 years, months, years. Okay. And that is because of anti-antibody complex getting deposited in the veins, and that leads to pain and all that. And it remains for quite long time, almost 2 years. People have experienced that pain in joint after 2 years of infection also with the chikungunya. That is the immune complex type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. And what is the type 4? It is the delayed or cell-mediated hypersensitivity reaction, which we will be learning one by one now. You can see here in the pictorial form, type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. And to the right, you can see the examples in type 1. What is important in type 1? See, there is a mast cell, which is coated with the IgE antibodies. And there is a star shape or Surya full circle, whatever you see there, sunflower type, that is antigen. That antigen has triggered the antibody, IgE antibodies, and they will bind to the mast cell. And what happens to the mast cell? Mast cells will release histamine. And that histamines after shocking dose release maximum amount, and that is lead to the vasodilation, mucus secretion, and bronchoconstriction and itch also. What are the examples of type 1 hypersensitive reaction? Allergic rhinitis. We all suffer from this rhinitis so often because of the seasonal change. Urticaria. There are certain patches on your skin. Asthma. This is most commonly seen in our country or in the most populated and what the polluted countries. Anaphylaxis. This is very important. What is the second? Now you see here macrophages, which are having engulfing the IgG coated IgG coated antigen antibody, and that will have the deleterious effect. And what is the mechanism? They will start killing themselves also. Okay, and there is a complement involvement also. Yesterday we saw complement can also be part of the hypersensitivity reaction. It mediates the hypersensitivity reaction. It mediates the inflammatory reactions also, right? Yesterday we saw that. So here, what are the examples? Autoimmune hemolytic anemia, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. These are the two examples of cytotoxic hypersensitivity. Third, immunocomplex. And what happens? Their antigen antibody are formed, and those get deposited into the veins, and that are responsible for pain. Okay, those immune complexes which are adhered to that to the inner sides of the veins are responsible for this type of reaction. And what is the example? Hemolytic anemia, hypersensitive pneumonia, systemic lupus erythematosus, and rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. And fourth one is delay type of hypersensitivity. Here there is no role of antibody. Here is the role of T lymphocytes, and the T lymphocytes will produce the cytokines, and that cytokines are responsible for having that erythema, edema, wherever it get contacted with on the skin intradermally. And the examples are contact dermatitis and the tuberculin test also. And this is just again the pictorial form of mast cell coated with the Ig antibodies, which are contact with the allergen, that is also called as antigen, and they release the histamine that is responsible for constriction, vasoconstriction, and all that. How will you remember the all four types? You know the word acid, ACID. A stands for anaphylaxis reaction, that is type 1. C stands for cytotoxic mediated. I stands for immune complex, and D stands for delayed. So this is how you must remember by the term, one single term, that is acid. Type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. Now we will see in detail the mechanism of type 1 reaction. In bracket, it is written IgE dependent. So one of the MCQ you will get that type 1 hypersensitivity reactions are mediated by which type of antibodies? IgA, IgM, IgE, IgG. You have to write IgE. Okay. So IgE dependent type 1 hypersensitive reaction. Generally, they occurs in the two forms. One is the acute, sudden. Acute is sudden. Okay. And recedes sudden also. And chronic, it remains for a long time, or recurrent, it occurs every time. Okay. So there are two types in the type 1 hypersensitive reaction. One is the acute, which is also called as anaphylaxis. And second one is the chronic or recurrent, which is first one is the fatal. And the second one, that is chronic, is non-fatal because it is occurring all the time, recurrent. Okay. And it is not that fatal, localized form. That is why it is called as atopy. Okay. The common allergy which we see in our day-to-day life is nothing but the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Okay. What do we mean by anaphylaxis? Classical immediate type of hypersensitivity reaction. It is a very classical reaction. These are the most commonly seen reactions in the patients. Okay. Because of various allergens, like even drug, which we are using to treat the patient also. People are allergic to some drugs, penicillin, cephalosporins, any drug, or even to the anesthetic agent, okay, which we are using for local anesthesia by you all people. So what is the anaphylaxis? Ana is without, and phylaxis is the protection. It is without protection. That is why it is called as anaphylaxis. The term coined by Richet in 1902, and he has done the experiment on the dog. And the Theobald Smith phenomenon is also there, who had done this type of hypersensitive reaction, pathogenic mechanism of this reaction in a guinea pig. And Ehrlich named this phenomena as Theobald Smith phenomenon. Okay. So if you look at the signs and symptoms, the type 1 hypersensitive reaction in the humans, itching of scalp and tongue, flushing of skin, suddenly it becomes red, difficulty in breathing, this is most common, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, acute hypotension, loss of consciousness, and death is rare. Of course, death is rare, but it can occur. Rare, but it can occur. What are the causes? Causes are serum therapy, antibiotics, insect stings. If you see the honey bee, if it bites, there will be a swelling. I don't know whether you had that bite or not. That is nothing but because of that sting, it shows the allergic reactions. Okay. And serum therapy is nothing but if I have donated my blood, it might get transferred to the recipient, and that the recipient might suffer from this type of allergic reactions. And of course, certain antibiotics. I am allergic to trimethoprim drug. Even a few generations of cephalosporins, I am allergic to that. So I cannot donate my blood to the recipient. And that's why I don't donate also, because it is to be safer. Not to donate the blood rather than giving the blood when you know that you are allergic. Okay. What is the treatment modality? Adrenaline. I told you, you have to keep ready that injection 0.5 ml, 1 in 1,000 solution. Subcutaneous or intramuscular can be given and repeated up to 2 ml in 15 minutes if the reaction is very severe. This is what I was referring. You must ready with the dose of adrenaline. Sensitization is most effective given parenterally. It is very important, but may occur by any route. This is very important. Actually, parentally it can occur, but it can occur with even ingestion. If you, I think probably you have heard about aruchi pana. If you eat those aruchi pana, you will get immediate reaction on your tongue. There is a flushing, itching, there is a pain in throat and all that. I don't know whether you have suffered or not. I have suffered that also. I have experienced that also. It is poisonous to some people. That's why you must take care of that. You just have some amount, and if you do not show any allergic reaction on your tongue, then you can go further for eating that aruchi vadi. Okay. Minor doses can sensitize the host. Very minor doses are required. Antigens and haptens can induce anaphylaxis. Haptens are little larger molecules than the antigens. Okay. There should be interval of 2 to 4 weeks. This is very important. Initial dose is sensitive, but shocking dose must have the 2 to 4 weeks of gap. That is very important. The anaphylaxis action. Shocking dose more effective when given intravenous. Of course, intravenous. Why intravenous more dangerous? It is directly going into the blood system. That is why it is more important, more dangerous, or more effective. It should be identical to the sensitizing dose. The shocking dose must be identical to the sensitizing dose. Otherwise, there will be no hypersensitivity reaction. Okay. The clinical effects are due to smooth muscle contraction and increased vascular permeability. Because of this, all these symptoms occur, signs and symptoms occur. There is also edema. Decreased coagulability of the blood. There is a fall in blood pressure and temperature, leukopenia and thrombocytopenia. These are certain signs seen in the type 1 hypersensitivity reactions. Now you see guinea pigs are more susceptible and rats are resistant. Rats are very resistant to such type of immune response. And rabbits, dogs, and humans are in the intermediate susceptibility. In human being, fatal anaphylaxis is fortunately rare because immediately the adrenaline is available. Even your own system, body system, can take care of that hypersensitivity reaction also. So it is not that fatal, but it could be fatal. Don't consider that it is not fatal. It can be fatal, but it is rare. Sign and symptoms begin with itching of the scalp and tongue, flushing of the skin over whole body, and difficulty in breathing due to bronchial spasm. Because of that, patient feels difficulty in breathing. There may be nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and diarrhea, sometimes blood in stool. Do not correlate these symptoms with your symptoms. I always, correlate these types of symptoms whenever I was studying these diseases in my graduation and post-graduation. I used to feel, am I suffering from that type of hypertension? Don't compare always. This nausea and all that is due to some other reasons also. So don't worry about that. Okay. Acute hypotension, loss of consciousness, and death can follow. Insect stings can also cause anaphylaxis in human beings. I was giving the honeybee sting. Prompt treatment with adrenaline is life-saving. If you do not give the adrenaline immediately, it could be fatal. 0.5 ml of 1 in 1,000 solution, subcutaneous or intramuscular, which I've already told you. And cutaneous anaphylaxis is also one of the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, that is anaphylaxis. Cutaneous means it is related to the skin. What happens in the cutaneous anaphylaxis? Local wheal and flare response after antigen is administered intradermally. See, anaphylaxis reaction can occur in any route. So if you give the antigen intradermally, it will be showing wheal and flare reaction. Wheal, pale central area, and flare, hyperemia and erythema. Generally, you can see here in this diagram, you can see there is a redness and induration. Passive cutaneous anaphylaxis developed by ovary. Ovary was the one who had developed this passive cutaneous anaphylaxis. And for detection of antibodies, for example, IgG antibodies. Generally, this is used to detect the IgG antibodies. Anaphylaxis in vitro is also there. Schultz-Dale phenomenon, it is called as isolated tissues from the sensitized guinea pig held in the Renger solutions will contract vigorously. This is the phenomenon which was shown by Schultz and Dale. Presenting cell, antigen presenting cell then give information to the CD4 T lymphocytes. And what CD4 T lymphocytes, they release all the cytokines IL-4, IL-5, 9 and 13, and these interleukins will again trigger the B lymphocytes, and B lymphocytes triggers the mast cells which are coated with the Ig antibodies, and these Ig antibodies get degranulated, and they are resulting the harmful effects such as itching and all that. Okay, these again the same pictorial depiction of the mechanism of the type 1 hypersensitive reaction, that is anaphylaxis. What are the mediators of anaphylaxis reaction? These are the primary mediators and the secondary mediators. In the primary mediators, it is a histamine, important vasoactive amine formed by decarboxylation of histidine found in the mast cell, basophils and platelets. You have seen there was a mast cell and which was coated with the IgE. This IgE, they release the mast cells to, burst, and they release the histamine. That's why it is the primary mediator. And release into skin stimulus, nerves producing burning and itching sensation. These are the signs. It causes the vasodilation and hyperemia, edema for increasing capillary permeability. It induces smooth muscle contraction and stimulates. That is the histamine. Now, serotonin is another mediator which can be also responsible for type anaphylaxis reaction. It is formed during decarboxylation of tryptophan found in the intestinal mucosa, brain tissue, and platelets. It causes smooth muscle contraction and increased capillary permeability and vasoconstriction. These are the signs or effects by the serotonin. And there are certain chemotactic factors which are also responsible for anaphylaxis, and they are eosinophil chemotactic factors, which are acidic tetrapeptide released from the mast cell granules again, and strongly chemotactics. Okay. And now secondary mediators. Which are the secondary mediators? Prostaglandins and leukotrienes. These are formed from disrupted cell membrane of mast cell and other leukocytes. They are powerful bronchoconstrictors, secondary mediators such as prostaglandins. And prostaglandins also affect secretion by mucus glands, platelet adhesion, permeability, and molecular weight. This thing, low molecular weight, and someone is there. Low molecular weight, and there are certain other mediators also, and for which takes part in the anaphylaxis, anaphylatoxins and all that. Okay. Then there is one more anaphylactoid reaction also. It is intravenous injection of peptone trypsin provokes a clinical reaction resembling the anaphylactic shock. That is why it is also referred as anaphylactoid reaction. As an anaphylactoid reaction, resemblance is due to same chemical participating in the reaction. Initial and shocking. It has no immunological basis. It has no immunological basis, and non-specific mechanism is there. Now, the chronic type of anaphylactic reaction, which we have referred it as atopy, which was introduced by Koka. Naturally occurring examples are hay fever and asthma. Antigens are inhalant or ingestant. In anaphylaxis, it is through the parenteral. Here it is inhalant or ingestant. Difficult to induce artificially. You cannot generate this type of hypersensitive reaction artificially. Genetically determined, probably linked to MHC genotypes, major histocompatibility complex. Produce large quantity of Ig antibodies. Bottle-fed infants tend to develop atopy in later life. This is something which is a consequence of bottle feeding. Okay. IgE differs from other immunoglobulins in many ways. Clinical expression depends on the portal of entry. Conjunctivitis, rhinitis, gastrointestinal symptoms, and dermatitis. These are the examples. Cannot be demonstrated in conventional serological reaction. Atopy cannot be demonstrated. Commonly occur in humans, not easy in the experimental animals. IgE is homeocytotopic, that is species specific. Heat sensitive and is inactivated at 56 degrees Celsius in 2 to 4 hours and does not pass through placenta. That's why we don't suffer from, I mean, there is no maternal transfer. Type 2 reaction, cytotoxic and cytolytic. There is an involvement of combination of IgE and IgG antibodies with antigenic determinants on the surface of the cells, leading to cytotoxic or cytolytic effects. Lysis of RBCs by anti-RBC antibodies are there. Example, I'll tell you. I'm A positive and someone is B positive. If I give my blood to the B positive, what will happen? I have B antibodies in my body because I am A positive. So those B antibodies will react to the surface antigen on the RBCs B antigen, and they will start killing the RBCs of the recipient. That is why this is the cytotoxic. Okay, and example is the blood. If you give the cross blood to any recipient. Okay, type 3 reactions, also referred as immune complexes diseases. Arthur's reaction is one of the example of the type 3. Arthur's in 19, this is the name of the scientist who had observed this. After repeated injection of normal horse serum in rabbits, subsequently develops edema, induration, and hemorrhagic necrosis. This was observed by the Arthur's. That's why it is known as Arthur's reaction. Tissue damage is due to the antigen antibody precipitate. See, antigen antibody complex are formed that get precipitate, and that causes complement activation and release of inflammatory molecules. And because of that, there is a pain and all that. I told you the example of chikungunya also. This leads to increased vascular permeability and infiltration of the site with neutrophils. And leukocyte platelet thrombi are formed that reduces the blood supply and lead to the tissue necrosis. There is a tissue necrosis. You can see it in the picture. Arthur's reaction to the left and Wheel and Flare, the Wheel and Flare reaction in the type 1. Serum sickness is another in the type 3. It's a systemic form of type 3 hypersensitive reaction. It was described by von Pirquet again. Appeared 7 to 12 days following a single injection of high concentration of foreign serum such as diphtheria antitoxin. Antitoxin, again, if there is an alum or something, another mixture is there in that antitoxin sera, and that is responsible for this type of hypersensitive reaction. What are the clinical syndrome? Fever, lymphadenopathy, splenomegaly, arthritis, glomerulonephritis, endocarditis, vasculitis, urticarial rashes, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting. These are all signs and symptoms. Pathogenesis is the formation of immune complex get deposited on inner lining of blood vessels. I was telling you this. Even in the chikungunya, in various parts of the body, causing the inflammatory infiltration, and this is responsible for all that. This is the example of serum sickness. You can see the clinical picture. There are rashes all over the body. And depletion of the complement, because of this type of reaction, because complement is utilized now. That is why person may experience the depletion of the complement. This is a self-limiting. You don't have to do anything. Your immune response will take care of this. Okay. Single injection can serve both as a sensitizing dose and a shock. This is the exception for the for our rule prerequisite. Single dose can act as a sensitizing dose as well as the shocking dose. Immune complexes occurs in many diseases, including bacterial, viral. I told you that the chikungunya, parasitic infections, disseminated malignancies, and autoimmune conditions. We will be learning autoimmune conditions later. Type 4 reactions are also called as delayed hypersensitivity. These are provoked by intracellular parasites or haptens, reaction due to sensitized T cells, which on contact with a specific antigen releases cytokines. Remember, cytokines are responsible for delayed type of hypersensitivity that will cause the biological effects. It cannot be transferred passively, okay, but can be transferred by lymphocytes. That is why nowadays the leukodepleted blood is given to the patient to avoid this type of transfer of hypersensitive reaction also. Again, there are two types, tubercle and contact dermatitis. Tuberculin type, this is one reaction which we will be learning in detail in the tuberculosis also. But remember, you prepare antigen, you give it intradermally onto the forearm, and you keep it for a couple of days. And then you can see on the right, there is a Wheel and Flare reaction, erythema, induration, and all. And you measure the diameter. If the diameter is less than 5 millimeter, then the reaction is negative. Tuberculin reaction is not there. But if the diameter is 5 to 9, it means the intermediate. And if its diameter is more than 9, it is actually positive. That means the patient is right now suffering from the tuberculosis. It is generally used to find out the past infection of tuberculosis. Okay. Contact dermatitis type. This is very important. It happens all the time when you get exposed to the variety of chemicals, metals, and dyes. Contact dermatitis is an inflammation of the skin caused by direct contact with an irritating or allergy causing substance, irritant or allergen. Reaction may vary in the same person over time. A history of any type of allergies increase the risk of this condition. Generally, you can see in the clinical picture, this is the contact dermatitis type. Generally, it is occur mainly those who are using the metal belts, and they will show the contact dermatitis of reactions. Okay, so this metal can also be responsible for the, and this you can see this is because of the poisonous plant, ivory plant, which is responsible for forming all these blisters. You can see on the hands of the that this is because of the poison ivy, which has the pentadecar catechol molecules, which comes in the contact with the skin protein, and pentadecar catechol molecules combined with the skin proteins, and they release the T lymphocytes in the 1 week or 2 weeks. And initially there is no dermatitis. That is the primary contact. Later on, after again contact, these T cells, which has got that memory, will produce many active T cells in couple of days only, and that leads to the dermatitis. That is the secondary contact. Okay. Comparison. If you look at the comparison of hypersensitive reaction, antibody, yes, IgE in type 1, IgG IgM type 2, type 3 मध्ये IgG IgM, and type 4 मध्ये there is no role of IgM. Antigen level, exogenous, cell surface, soluble, and intracellular. You can take this as a type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. In this way, I'm talking about. Response time very less in type 1, even in type 2, it is little more in type 3, but 48 to 72 hours, which is longer in the type 4. Okay. Appearance, wheal and flare in the first, lysis and necrosis in the second, erythema and edema, erythema and induration, type 3 and type 4. Histology, generally you can see basophils and eosinophils in type 1, antibodies and complement in type 2, polymorphonuclear cells and complement in type 3, monocytes and lymphocytes in the type 4. Transfer, yes, possible, serum, and T cells. Antibody means serum and T cells, of course. So passive transfer is possible in first 3. Okay. Examples: hay fever, asthma in first. Second, pemphigus, good posture. And third, farmer's lung or systemic lupus erythematosus. And fourth, TB test or poison ivy or granuloma. This is all about the complement system, and these are the MCQs which I will share you later. Okay. Thank you. And I have done with the complement, the hypersensitivity reaction. So you can stop now.
Yes, sir.